Good afternoon, welcome to VANIK-IAS. We will discuss current affair of 14th May. First is objective questions. With reference to BirdLife International, consider the following statements. It's a specialized agency of United Nations. Yes, a specialized agency, right? Specialized agency. Other specialized agencies are, for example, your WTO, World Bank. These are all specialized agencies. IMF, specialized agency. UNESCO is also specialized agency, right? But not UNGA. These are original component of UN system. UNGA, UNSC, right? They are ECO, ESOC. These are original component of UN system. They are union system, but these are specialized agencies. It publishes state of world birds. It is a biennial report, right? Biennial report publishes um, state of world birds. Both the statements are right regarding BirdLife International, right? It's an international NGO, BirdLife International. Both 1 and 2 are right. Next, with reference to National Livestock Mission, consider the following statements. It was started in 2014-15. Yes, National Livestock Mission. It seeks to ensure quantitative and qualitative improvement of livestock production system. Yes, quantitative and qualitative improvement. It is being implemented by a sub-scheme of White Revolution Rashtriya Pashudan Vikas Yojana. Sub-scheme of Rashtriya Pashudan Vikas Yojana, that is White Revolution. All the statements are correct here. That is regarding National Livestock Mission, right? To holistic development of livestock, for example, your cattle and other livestock. For that, will help you in case of your annual husbandry. This is National Livestock Mission, right? All options are right. Then next question is regarding the temple is built in Chalukyan style on the Prabhas Pathan or Bherahal port of Gujarat. So it's located in Gujarat. First information, it is located in Gujarat. It was raided by Mahmud Ghazni and it is believed to be has plundered by at least 17 times. 17 times plundered is only your Somnath temple. In 25 years, Mahmud Ghazni has plundered 17 times the Somnath temple, and that is just built in Chalukyan style in Gujarat. Remember, it's in Gujarat, right? Okay. It was built by Jadavas. Remember, built by Jadav kings of Vallavi. Yadav kings of Vallavi around 649 C. 649 C it was built, right? It was reconstructed by in Chalukya temple Hindu architecture. India first president Rajendra Prasad performed Pran Pratishtha ceremony over here, which is the temple referred on the above paragraph. Obviously, it is Somnath temple, which is plundered 17 times by Mahmud Ghazni in the span of 25 years, right? Okay. Remember, Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi is the chairman of Somnath Mandir Trust. PM is chairman of Somnath Temple Trust. D is the answer. Next. Then, which of the following are the reasons of land degradation? Reasons of land degradation: salinity, soil erosion, waterlogging, fertility loss. Obviously, whenever you see the questions regarding reasons and application, in most of the cases, around 90% of the cases, the answer is all of the above is the answer. Right? Here also all of the above. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, salinity in the regions of land degradation, it becomes more, or there is a particular component that is fine. More than it is, that will hamper the land fertility. Soil erosion because of runoff, waterlogging, use time of water, that will cause, waterlogging, that will huge deposition, long time deposition of water, that will prevent any oxygen penetration to the soil. So the soil will become, uh, the species will die. Waterlogging also, that is causes land degradation, and fertility loss obviously that is land degradation. So all the options are right. Reasons and applications. Majority cases answer is all of them. But you must read every option. Next, with reference to information technology intermediary guidelines and digital media ethics course 2021 consider the following statements. Under the rules, any grievance raised by user need to be acknowledged within 24 hours and should be resolved within a period of 15 days. It is under the information IT rules, right? 2021. It should be resolved within a period of 15 days. This is right. And Prajwala case is related to it. Prajwala case is related to it. Both those statements are right regarding information technology guidelines for digital media ethics. If any violation happens, that should be solved within 15 days. Okay. Next. Sagittarius, a recently seen in the news, that is a Milky Way star, black hole. What is it? Or planet? See, Sagittarius A, it is a black hole. Remember, it's a black hole. Just a second. Yes, Sagittarius A, it is a black hole. The image, this is seen in the middle of our galaxy, right? That is Milky Way. Milky Way. So this is Sagittarius A. And in the center of galaxy Milky Way, this Sagittarius A is seen. That is black hole. The surrounding area of black hole is called as area of black hole is called event horizon. Is called event horizon, where we see various type of horizon, where we see various types of radiations. Event horizon. Right. Next. Next is, what is black hole? It is a region of high gravity. Right. High gravity means so that light cannot pass through it. Even light will not pass through and cannot return from it. That will enter and that will submerge in the black hole. Right. High gravity area. Then our galaxy is what is galaxy? That is a system of huge number of collection of gas and billion of stars, solar system, all are contained in a held together in gravity. That is called as galaxy. We have our Milky Way galaxy. Right. There is another project that is called as Event Horizon Project. Event Horizon Project to detect what is this Event Horizon Project? That is to detect the properties of various radiations. Event Horizon Project. It is a project of. So this is regarding your black hole. Then, what is the rising inflation? It reduces people's purchasing power. Yes, rising inflation. Suppose your salary is fixed. Suppose you are getting 50,000 and the price of everything increased by 10%. Obviously, your purchasing power will reduce. You cannot purchase everything. Earlier, you are purchasing at less price. It reduces overall demand. Yes, if inflation increases, the price of a particular good will increase. Right? Demand will automatically decrease. Price increases means demand decreases. Suppose anything, right? If the price increases, demand will automatically decrease. On that basis, the private institutions usually they keep the price of a good as minimum as possible. As minimum as possible. Every private company they keep the price of particular good as minimum as possible because At a minimum price, they get maximum profit because demand is huge. It harms savers and help borrowers. Yes, harm savers. For example, you are given 10,000 to particular person, right? And he will, and by 10,000 you can purchase a lot of things. For example, as of now, but after 5,000, after 5 years, the value of 10,000 will be very few. Or you are given, suppose you are giving 10,000 rupees for 20 years, and if you will return it after 20 years, the value of 10,000 will be very less. So the person who has saved 10,000 rupees, that harms it. Help borrowers, those people who are borrowing, that they will be helped by inflation, because you are purchasing something today 10,000. Suppose after 5 years, the you are returning 10,000. At that time, the value of 10,000 is less than the original value. So it helps the borrowers. It helps government to meet debt obligations. It helps government to meet debt obligations. It worsens the exchange rate. Now the question is, yes, which of the following is answer? 1, 2, 3, all are the answers, right? Here A, B, C, among these three options, 1, 2, 3 are the answers, right? Next, please. Consider the following. Consider the following statements. FII are allowed to invest 100% of their portfolios in debt securities. Yes, they can invest. FII for foreign institutional investors, they can invest 100% debt in the portfolio of the debt securities. FII enable a degree of control in the company. No, FDI allows a degree of control in the company, but FII is only investment in the security market. There is no, you are investing in security market, that is share market, so there will be no degree of control. So 1 is the answer. But in case of FDI, that means it is same type of secure investment. That's why FDI is called as secure investment. A person can invest securely and in any company, and usually they do not, that is not volatile. But in case of FII, if today you are investing in the shares, next day you may take all your shares and invest in another country. That is FII. So they do not give you the control of management. Then what is Kessler's syndrome? Kessler's syndrome is related to space debris. Right? Kessler's syndrome or space junk, space debris, they are called as Kessler's syndrome. A is the answer. See, since last five decades, after the human exploration by USSR, there is huge number of space debris that present in the space, right? And presently, Russia is coming out of International Space Station, and it is guessed that International Space Station may come in contact with space debris and may get blasted, right? So Kessler's syndrome, it is related to space debris. There is around, it is expected to count 100 million space debris are present in our space, right? Around 100 million space debris. So they anytime they may come and harm the and hamper our satellite systems. Consider the following statements. Out of all the satellites, artificial satellite around the Earth, commercial satellites are highest in number. Foreign military satellites, no, it's wrong. Commercial satellites are not highest in number. Usually, these Earth observation satellites are more. USA has the highest satellites. Yes, obviously, it's a developed countries, more developed countries. So, is the answer. Next question. Next, we will discuss ethanol blending program in India. Ethanol blending program. Why ethanol? Recently, the level of ethanol blending petrol has increased to 9.999%. Right? Government is trying to have an objective to increase the ethanol blending by 20% by 2025. Why? Because there is increasing effect of global warming and climate change, and we have some commitment in Glasgow summit, and that is to raise 450 billion of 450 to reduce our 50% of our carbon emission by 2030 and to achieve a net neutrality by 2070. So for all these programs, we have to take multiple efforts like ethanol blending and green hydrogen project, then non-renewable energy, renewable energy like solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, nuclear energy. We have to diversify our energy resources. We have to ensure energy security also, as we have energy consumption is increasing, right? At the same as energy demand is increasing, but at the same time there is also uncertainty in the global market like Russia and in the Middle East. Right, Russia was a credible source, but there is war, Russia and Ukraine tensions. In case of Middle East also, there is always volatile. Many type of terrorist attacks occurs many times in Middle East. Right. So India has targeted 10% government blending by 2022 and 20% blending by 2023. 30. December 2020, government advanced its target achieving 20% from 2030 to 2025. So government is targeting ethanol blending by 2025 of 20%. Ethanol will be created. It may be created these biofuels. There are various types of biofuels. There are first generation biofuel, second generation biofuel. First generation biofuel are from food crops. Second generation biofuel are from non-food crops. Third generation biofuel are from algae. Fourth generation biofuel are from genetically modified crops. So, in case of India, these biofuels are increasingly created that will ensure we have a problem of, for example, we have a problem of current account deficit, and that may be addressed by biofuel because 20% of our import is reduced because majority of our imports are from the majority of the energy import, especially petroleum products that comprises the majority of our import. So to secure a very good current account deficit, one of the important indicator of our economy, that is current account deficit, that will be balanced. Right now, Sri Lanka is facing the issue of current account deficit, or it do not have any huge number of forex reserve. Current account deficit means export minus import. We have to see independence only once we have seen our import are more than export. But all of the time there is always export is always much more than import. That is why our current account there is always a negative. Export minus import is always negative. We have a huge amount of foreign exchange because of the remittances received by the foreign countries from foreign countries. So what is this ethanol blending program? Centre had launched pilot projects within 5% ethanol blended petrol was supplied to retail outlets. The sources field trials paved the way for launching the ethanol blended petrol program in 2003. It aimed to popularize 5% ethanol blended petrol in 9 states and 4 UTs. 9 states and 4 union territories. Ethanol blended program in 2023. Field trials happened. Popularized 5% ethanol blended, 9 state 4 duties. Ethanol blended separated pumping and biometering mechanism. Right. Usually they are created from created from the sugarcane molasses. These ethanols are created. It can be created from various other products. M. Reducing countries' dependence on crude oil imports. We are dependent on a foreign country. Whenever dependent on a foreign country, you are vulnerable to various crises. For example, we are dependent on our palm oil on countries like on other countries. 60% of our oil is imported. So, when 60% of oil, which consumption oil, right? Palm oil or vegetable oil that are imported. So, when imported or dependent on foreign country, any type of crisis happening in a particular country, that will hamper us as well. That's why we have to develop self-sufficiency or Atmanirbhar. For example, after post-COVID pandemic, there is the issue of demand and supply challenges, right? Demand and supply challenges that exist. Although demand increased suddenly, but supply chain couldn't recover properly. That's why oil prices was also huge or large, high oil prices, because there is break of supply chain or supply chain couldn't develop properly. So oil prices are also increased. So all these things, when there is a supply demand gap, there is also a issue whenever you are dependent on a foreign country. That's why you have to be self-dependent. Government is trying to be trying to make it a self-dependent. So far as this oil is concerned, eating oil, that is a palm oil or vegetable oil, government is going to going to start intensified cultivation in the northeastern area and also Andaman Nicobar Islands. Okay, what is the target regarding what is the target of this ethanol blending? India targeted 10% ethanol blending by 2022 and 20% ethanol blending by 2030. Okay, that is already. What is the significance? Also, there is target of 5% blending biodiesel with diesel by 2030. Biodiesel will be of 5% blending of biodiesel by 2030 is also targeted. The center has announced an additional duty of uh, to 2 per liter on unblended fuels starting October to incentivize blending, right? There's additional duty of 2 per liter on unblended fuels to incentivize the ethanol blending. What is the significance? First is energy security. We are not dependent on foreign countries for energy. We have produced, we have to ensure energy security. We have to be self-dependent. India is third largest consumer of energy in the world after China and US. Ethanol will promote Atmanirbhar Bharat vision by ensuring self-dependency and of same extent. By ensuring self-dependency, Atmanirbhar Bharat, whereas because we is third largest importer of energy, consumer energy after China and US. Then reduction of import dependency. India dependent on imports about 82% of its crude oil requirement and to the extent of 44.4% in the case of natural gas. So are dependent on other countries in both petroleum products. That is reduction in import dependency. That will strengthen our foreign exchange. We have a foreign exchange of around $600 billion, which is very huge, which is very secure. We are not in the wars of financial crisis like happened in Sri Lanka. But still, there is product deficit. We have addressed that. Then entrepreneurial opportunity. India is expected to need 10 billion liters of ethanol annually. 10 billion liters ethanol annually to meet 20% of blending target in 2030 if petrol consumption continues to grow at the current pace. So we have to produce 10 billion, right? 10 billion ethanol need to be produced. 10 billion, 20 billion for 20% blending target. We have to produce 10 billion liters of ethanol every year. At present, the capacity is 1.55 billion liters per year. Support for agriculture sector. It will help in sugar mill owners to pay farmers for their pending FRP sugarcane. That is right. Fair remunerative price to the sugarcane. There is always a delay in payments. There is issue regarding FRP. So that will help the sugar mill owner because they will sell the sugarcane molasses to, that will be used for the biofuel or ethanol creation. It will also mitigate the problem of low sugar prices in international market. Low sugar prices in international market. If sugar will be used, then obviously there will be if the demand of sugar will increase, the supply of sugar will decrease, and obviously price of the sugar will increase in the international market. So next, additional income to farmers. It is like the vision of Prime Minister doubling farmers' income. Yes, because now they have a one type of cash crop. Cash crop means they can produce various type of crops that produces ethanol, or they can also produce sugarcane, intensified sugarcane production. This can happen. So farmer, they are getting a new crop for cultivation. Okay. Environmental friendly fuel. It will decrease emissions of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, and nitrogen oxide, etc. as it bonds more smoothly due to the presence of oxygen in molecule itself. In presence of oxygen in molecule itself, it will decrease the emission of carbon dioxide because yes, these are carbon they release less carbon as compared to petroleum products. Decreasing pollution. Use of ethanol blended petrol decreases emissions such as carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, nitrogen oxide. High reduction of carbon monoxide are observed in E20 fuel or 50%. So this will decrease the pollutions, right? Because the emissions such as carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, they decreases 50% less. This will help us to achieve the sustainable development goals, and we will only achieve the commitment in achieve our commitment in Paris climate deal, right? Then contributing the Swachh Bharat mission by supporting aggregation of non-food biofuel feedstocks such as waste biomass and urban waste. Swachh Bharat mission supporting aggregation of non-food biofuel feedstocks, waste biomass that are waste, this urban waste and waste biomass like the sugarcane molasses. That means after the sugar is extracted from the sugarcane, that is called sugarcane molasses. They can be used for your biofuel. Right. The challenges: making efficient vehicles. There is an estimated loss of 6 to 7% of fuel efficiency for four-wheelers and 3 to 4% for two-wheelers using F20. These vehicles are originally designed for E20 and calibrated for E10. So there is estimated loss of 6% of fuel efficiency. Yes, the issue is that it is 6% less efficient as compared to the conventional fuels. Right. Unregulated emissions. The unregulated carbon emissions such as acetaldehyde emissions were higher in E10 and E20 compared to normal petrol. No reduction in NOx is seen even after the use of ethanol blended fuel. So there is also some emission in 4 to 5 states, right, where sugar production is high. So that's also that is also a problem that need to be diversified. But food grain based distilleries should be increased in number to set up across India along with modern technology plants to make ethanol from agricultural waste. So rather than these 4 to 5 states, we have to diversify the production units for ethanol from agricultural waste throughout India. Right. Next, everywhere this ethanol product, the crops which creates ethanol are not produced. Then way ahead, shift focus from first generation to next generation biofuel. It will counter the most genuine fear of loss of food security. Yes. One next generation biofuel, that means second generation, third generation biofuel that is created from algae or your genetically modified crops. We have a threat from genetically modified crops because so far as human consumption is concerned, right? For human consumption, for example, BT brinjal, we are going through extensive research. What is the long-term impacts of BT brinjal, right? So we don't need it. So rather than this researching a long term, we can produce for fifth generation biofuel, fourth generation biofuel that is created from genetically modified crops, and we can produce a large amount of it. Right. So we have to shift from non-food crop biofuel. We have to shift from food crop biofuel to non-food crop biofuel or fourth generation biofuel. Or we can make it from algae, but that will hamper the biodiversity of uh, marine or your water biodiversity, aquatic biodiversity. Making vehicle manufacturers future ready. The industrial platform should be made ready for the next process of E85 or E10, for example, so that that will be compatible to for a biofuel. India has a real opportunity to become global leader in sustainable biofuels policy if it chooses to refocus on ethanol made from waste. If we will focus on ethanol, how can we create ethanol from waste? Then we can become a global leader because by producing huge amount of biofuel. Then some thrilling facts. Green manure. What is this green manure? Punjab government is promoting cultivation of green manure nowadays. Green manure. Green manures are crops grown specifically for building and maintaining soil fertility and structure. Soil fertility and structure. Green manures are crops grown specifically for building and maintaining soil fertility and structure. Okay. They are normally incorporated into the soil either directly or removal after or after removal and composting. There are three main varieties of green manure include dhanicha, cowpea, some hemp, moong. They are created, right? Green manure. The green manure must be leguminous in nature. That means dal leguminous plants that can fix nitrogen. Wear maximum nodules on its roots to fix high amount of atmospheric nitrogen in the soil. Right? The green manures, the majority function should be to fix nitrogen in the soil. Green manures varieties are incorporated into soil when crop is 42 to 56 days old at the time green manure is given. Dhanicha, cowpea, sunhemp, moong. Okay, obtained in 2 days by growing green manure crops or by collecting green leaves along with twigs from plants grown in wasteland, field, ponds, forest. You can grow green manure crops. Improves advantages. Improve soil structure by enhancing the organic matter in the soil. Meets the deficiency of micronutrients. Increases water holding capacity of soil. Improve soil structure, enhancing the organic matter, meets deficiency of micronutrients, increase the water holding capacity, decrease the soil loss by erosion, decompose rapidly, liberates large quantity of carbon dioxide with weak acids, soil minerals to release nutrients for plant growth. So this is green manure is very helpful regarding plant growth. It will also ensure sustainable development. It will reduce land degradation and it will increase the micronutrients in the soil. Why is the sowing of green manure important in Punjab? High hectare fertilizer consumption. Yet, high amount of chemical fertilizer consumption, which are 240 per kg, is one of the highest in the country. Also higher than the national average. So, high amount of chemical is used in the Punjab. Growing green manure can curtail the consumption of inorganic fertilizers. So, it can reduce the consumption of inorganic fertilizers to a large extent by 25 to 30%, and can save a huge input cost to the farmers. Also, there will reduce reduction of input cost if we use green manures. So, that is both financially viable, also viable insofar as environmental sustainability is concerned. Deficiencies of micronutrients like iron, zinc, especially in the soils where rice is cultivated, thus affect productivity. Iron, zinc, rice is cultivated, thus affect the productivity. In such a situation, green manuring helps improving soil health and enhance the productivity of the crops. Okay. So, deficiency of micronutrients like iron and zinc, especially in the soils, rice is cultivated. So, all these things are addressed by green manure. National Technology Day. Every year, 11th May is celebrated as National Technology Day. 11th May is a National Technology. It is celebrated to commemorate anniversary of 1998 Pokhran nuclear test. 1998 Pokhran nuclear test and National Technology Day is celebrated to commemorate the anniversary. India successfully tested Shakti 1 nuclear missile in operation called Pokhran 2, also called Operation Shakti. Operation Shakti or Pokhran 2 1998, India successfully tested a nuclear missile. Nuclear missile was tested in the Indian Ocean Pokhran test range of Rajasthan. It was second test that conducted Pokhran 1 operation smiling to the 1974. Right. What is celebrated? The day reminds Indians the country's technological advances. The day celebrates not only scientists and engineers but also those involved in the identity innovating and promoting dissemination of knowledge, also ensure its benefits at the grassroots level. So, National Technology Day is celebrated every year in 11th May on Pokhran nuclear tests. What is the theme? Integrated approach for science and technology for sustainable future. Integrated approach in science and technology for sustainable future. It is the theme of National Technology Day. The government of India commemorates the day by honoring those who have made significant contribution to the development of new technology. India commemorates the day by honoring those who have made significant contribution to development of new technology. By recognizing the contribution of scientists, engineers, and country highlights those who have been associated young people who can build career in the field of science and technology. To inspire them, this day is celebrated 11th May. Honored by the Technological Development Board, Ministry of Science and Technology honors individuals. Ministry of Science and Technology honors individuals and groups for their remarkable achievements and bestows medals on them on this National Science and Technology on this day. The President of India attends the ceremony organized by department and present the awards to enterprises, organizers, individual outstanding contribution to science and technology. Right. The scheme is integrated approach for science and technology for sustainable future. Pulitzer Prize. A team of 4 Indian photographers from Reuters News Agency, slain photojournalist Danish Siddiqui, Adnan Abidi, Sana Irsad Matto, Omid Dave have won the 2022 Pulitzer Prize for Future Photography for the coverage of COVID-19 crisis in India. The Pulitzer Award is established in 1917. Actually, 1917 to honor newspaper publisher Joseph Pulitzer. It is administered by Columbia University and is awarded for newspaper, magazines, and online journalism, photojournalism, literature annually across 12 categories. Pulitzer Prize is given in 12 categories. Each winner receives a certificate and $15,000 cash award. The winner in public service category is awarded a gold medal. In public service category is awarded gold medal. So the winner get $15,000. This is Pulitzer Prize. In case that is given in 22 categories, named after Pulitzer Award, that is in 1917, to honor the publisher Joseph Pulitzer, and 4 Indian photojournalists have won it from Reuters News Agency. Pulitzer Award Prize. Indians who have won Pulitzer. One is Govind Bihari Lal from India, who won Pulitzer Prize Journalism in 1933, member of Gaddar Party in America. Gaddar Party Lala Hardayal has created Gaddar Party, Govind Bihari Lal. Right. It was publishing Gaddar, the Gaddar, Revolutionary Terrorism. We say Sanghamitra Kalita Gita Anand, Sanghamitra Managing Director of Los Angeles Times. Gita Sanghamitra Kalita Siddhartha Mukherjee and Sanghamitra Kalita 2022. Mukhtar Khan, Das Yasir Associated Press, won Pulitzer in the picture of photography category. These are the people who has got Pulitzer Prize. It is not essential to remember all these names. The global impact and response of COVID-19 pandemic highlights the need for coordinated action across the sector to protect health and prevent disruption in the food system. Examine the need of One Health approach in this regard. One Health, first is 2020 to 2024. This One Health approach, it is first used in 2003 and 2004. In association with the emergence of severe acute respiratory disease (SARS), early 2003, subsequently meant by spread highly pathogenic avian influenza H5N1 and by series of strategic codes, that is Manhattan Principle. Okay, One Health, it is first used in 2003 and 4 for respiratory diseases like SARS in 2003 and also H5N1. Okay. But it is a collaborative multi-sector transdisciplinary approach working social, local, regional, national and global levels. So at all levels collaboration is made. One Health approach, interconnection between the people, animal, plants and shared environment, that means holistic approach. Holistic approach from national, international level, from global level, from that is also recognize the interconnection between the people, animal, plants and health. Successful public health interventions require cooperation professionals from human health, doctor, nurse, and also epidemiologists, vegetarians, veterinarians, veterinarians, paraprofessional, agricultural workers, environment workers. All these are essential agricultural communities. All they are essentials regarding One Health. That means holistic approach, especially for mitigation, because especially generally we are going for adaptation. If something happens, if particular disease happens, we take medicine. That is adaptation. We do not address the original cause. But here, to address the original cause, One Health approach means to address the original cause, not adaptation. Rooting out the mitigation, that is called as mitigation, right? One health issues including zoonotic diseases, those diseases which are coming from zoonotic diseases means those diseases which are coming from animals to human beings. For example, your COVID-19, it is Zika virus, AIDS, all the zoonotic diseases. Antimicrobial resistance, it is what presently world is suffering from because of high use of antibiotics. And food safety, food security, vector-borne diseases, environmental contamination, right? Health threats by people environment. All these things need to be addressed. Relevance of one this in recent times many factors have changed. Interaction between people and animals, plant or environment have led to spread of existing endemic known as zoonotic diseases. Zoonotic diseases is increasing. Non-communicable diseases are increasing, right? So that's why we need a holistic approach to solve the problem, not only just to take medicines, but also to solve the problem. Why this type of zoonotic diseases are spreading day by day? Why there is increasing? Because of environmental problems. Obviously, there is decline of forest cover. There is man and animal conflicts. There is loss of species. That's why they are spreading. Climate and land use change. The earth has experienced changes in climate and land use, such as deforestation and intensive farming practices. Disruption in environmental conditions. Animals were susceptible to the environmental hazards. They are dying. Animals are dying. So the food chain is getting disturbed. Food web is getting disturbed. Right. Birds often die of West Nile virus because people get sick and West Nile virus infection. So various virus infections are also increasing at present time. Geographic expansion in human habitats. Human population is growing. Geographic expansion is also growing because one of the reason is our climate change. The deforestation. Role of animals. They play important role in our lives. Right. They are also because of there is decline in forest or loss of species. There is disturbance in the ecological system. Right. That's why their numbers are increasing. So increased global interactions. There is international travel. World has become global village. It is trade all are increasing, maritime trade is increasing, so species are dying. So the ecological balance is getting disturbed and that ultimately lead to such type of man and animal conflict and also zoonotic diseases. So we need a World Health Program. Scientists have observed that more than 1.17 million viruses are floating in wildlife. 1.7 million viruses are circulating in wildlife and many of them are likely to be zoonotic, which implies unless there is timely detection, India is risk more pandemics in the time. To achieve target under One Health vision, efforts are ongoing address challenging the pertaining to veterinary manpower shortages, lack of information sharing human and animal health, right? Institutions, there is inadequate coordination on food safety, distribution and retail facilities. This can be remedied by consolidating existing animal health and disease surveillance systems. So we have to our surveillance need to be increased. Now we battle another way of deadly zoonotic disease that is COVID-19. So One Health, this is the need of the hour. Comprehensively we have to how we will try how to mitigate the crisis. So the lecture end here. Like this video, share this video and must subscribe to my channel. Thank you.